Oh, it looks live from
Oh,
this.
well, that was new. Um,
Yes.
so just so you all know, Ecamm has changed a little bit, and we're probably going to get rid of Restream. If you're interested in those things, look them up. But today we are talking about the new title, The Post. I didn't ask you guys what you thought of that. You probably hate it, but I love it. But we are talking about search, social, and website and AI marketing for the month of June 2025. And you know the team. I'm Pip, Seymour Digital Media, and beside me is below. Anyway,
Uh,
jump in, me,
That would
Rena.
be, it's supposed to be Phelan next and then me.
Okay.
But anyway,
okay. Hi, I'm Phelan with Seymour Digital Media, and
I'm Rina from Little Works Indie Media.
And I'm Greg with Original 72 Creative.
Yeah. We're going to talk about all the exciting things that are going on in the market right now. And we were just having a hot and steamy conversation about changes in the world. And let's just get into the marketing things. Who wants to head it off? Because, I just want to talk about AI search. But I know, Rena, you've got a lot of stuff going on with social.
Yeah,
Um,
there are definitely a few things. So as of, I think it's immediately Facebook video. All Facebook videos will be posted as Reels automatically. So there's no ability for you to choose how you want it to show up on your feed. It's always going to go to Reels.
oh.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's fun or not. I haven't decided, but generally speaking, I'm posting all of my video content to Reels anyways because I feel like Reels gets better traction. But if you have a different idea, please put your ideas in the comments. I love to hear how it's going for you, what you're
Well,
noticing. Um,
how long do reels have to be? Like, is there a max?
no, I don't think so. There's no max. They used to have short reels, and then they had long reels, and I'm pretty sure that we can do almost everything. I think there is a max, but I'll have to only if you're publishing from Creator Suite. If you're publishing directly, then there's no maximum.
And do you yeah, there's so many questions, right? Like each platform is so unique
Yeah,
with what you have to do and so what works best. And it looks like video is short video is what's very interesting, right?
well, I think
So
long videos is ranking better though.
I
Like it
don't know.
helps.
I've heard that. Well, and I mean, I've heard that short, but they're all pushing short video. So, like YouTube, I know this year, like it's short video, short video. I think they're all trying to
Yes,
be like TikTok.
I think it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for engagement or if you're looking for indexing, so that's one thing to keep in mind.
Mm.
So that's true, and it's best to test because sometimes they tell me something is better than the other thing, and then I realize in my case situation it's not because we also have to remember that we're all on different platforms. The algorithm might be the same on each platform. I'm not entirely sure on the different versions. I'm assuming that it is, but you can still notice differences between your accounts, and so make sure that you're following what your data is telling you. That's the most important thing always.
Mm.
Because you might also notice the changes before they actually get announced or before you figure it out or before we talk about it. That's also the case. So TikTok ban has been extended again. I didn't get the next date. I don't really think I care anymore. It just keeps getting extended. We'll see what happens. I
Three more
believe that has,
months.
yeah, I believe that has a lot to do with now a lot of things to do with tariffs and what's happening between China and the U.S. I understand that their relations are not the best at the moment, but I don't know the
Mm.
details about that.
It's
Um,
interesting how it all intersects, you know?
Yeah, and one sort of thing to keep in mind for small businesses, I like this idea for small businesses, for big businesses, not so good. The tech giants have cut over 53,000 jobs in 2025 so far. Um,
Right.
yeah, and a lot of it has to do with, or they say that a lot of it has to do with AI, but not directly. So I'm not entirely sure. I think sometimes the tech giants just do that in order to fix their numbers for their investors. But I could be really cynical about that. and it talks about how people are hiring people with AI skills, and and good understanding of AI and how to do their job with AI. So that's one thing. It's always good for really small businesses, as much as that sucks for everyone. It's good for small businesses because this is a great time to pick up new talent um, if you're in the market for doing that. It's great. I think I've been at the short end of the stick when all the tech companies are hiring. Is the last time I tried to hire an employee, and that was brutal. so so this is my sunny side, silver lining bit. um and then
Uh-oh.
Zucker. Yeah.
Well, it just
What?
said something iOS stopped. So I don't know what something stopped somewhere, but we're still doing it. So let's keep going.
Okay, we're going to keep going. Okay, so Zuckerberg is assembling a super intelligent group for Meta AI. He intends to personally recruit around 50 individuals for the AGI team, and is partly driven by frustration over the performance and reception of Meta's Llama 4 large language model. So that's kind of interesting. I'm quite curious to see how that's going to change things and who he's hiring, because I think that,
He's trying to steal OpenAI's people. I
yeah,
believe. I
that makes
believe.
perfect sense. Yeah, that would make perfect sense. This article didn't go into super huge detail about it, but that makes sense. Because the next part is Meta, it has been exploring acquisition of AI video startup called Runway. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, but stay tuned because that might make videos. We might have like a video editing app in Meta in the future. It looks like they're trying to do the same thing that
That's interesting.
TikTok is. Yeah, shockingly,
Well,
they're trying.
YouTube always had a
Yeah.
has in video,
Oh, right. I
right?
forgot about that. Yeah, I
I
don't really use
know.
that very much. So yeah, but you're right.
It's true. It's interesting how it's changing so fast because the
Mhm.
video, they must be like, it's funny, it's video editing because on the other side with Google, who released the new, what is it? It's the new Velo, I think it's called. And like
Okay.
you can use Velo. I use Velos in, I think you can use it. I could be wrong, in Canva now, and I can use it in Manus. So maybe you could use it in Chat GPT. So I mean, is it great? It's okay. Will it be great? Yeah, eventually it's all going to be great. Maybe we'll have everything. AI will be just one thing because there's so much, right?
Yeah, we'll
Changing
see.
so fast. So
Yeah, and we'll see, if people actually really um, connect with that. Mastodon, on the other side, is banning AI scraping in their new terms of services. Um,
I kind of
so
like
they're
that.
prohibiting AI scraping of posts, which is kind of an interesting take, and it's in alignment with their branding, their values proposition that they're putting out there. So what they're trying to do really is um, expose and organize challenges within the decentralized platform. So it's pretty interesting. This is a good case study to be watching to see how this might go for decentralization. Um, because it seems like there's a lot of centralization
Yeah, Greg,
happening.
Phelan, what do you guys think? They could be
Oh,
frozen.
it looks like
Phelan frozen?
Phelan's frozen. Oh dear.
Yeah, Phelan is frozen. Phelan?
I was actually going to mention when you were talking about Meta and Facebook that they announced that there's going to be, there was the movie The Social Network about Facebook.
Yes, I did see that.
They've announced there's going to be a social network too.
Oh, is that right? Oh, that's
It'll be
interesting.
based around the years 2021, I believe, and things that were going on around 2021.
Okay. That'll
So,
be that'll I would love to see that. I want to see what their take is or what they're going to put out there.
Sorry, I
yeah,
missed
yeah.
that. What was that? What was that?
The Social Network, the movie about Facebook, they're going to be
Mm,
making a social network too. They announced
that will be interesting. I mean, yeah.
it'll be based on the time frame around 2021. So, do we know specifically anything that happened around 2021? Was that when they
They
rebranded
did,
Facebook to Meta?
yeah, I think so. They did a whole other. I think there was another big algorithmic shift at that time.
Wasn't
So
Yeah.
that, yeah, he changed names and then he is was doing didn't he get yelled at for
Oh, was
not being very
2021
thoughtful
when he
with the
was?
AI stuff that he
Maybe
was
he was
doing?
really big into the
Yeah, the
VR
yeah,
or the
VR. Yeah, yeah,
augmented
yeah.
reality
yeah,
stuff back then. Yeah.
yeah. He
Oh,
got
that
in
was
trouble.
2022, Phelan says in the distance.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
Mhm.
he might be back. Hold on. Let me try to do something neato mosquito so it looks like I know what I'm doing. Oh, we lost Greg.
And so the last point that I have for us
Hold
is
on, Greg. We're
the
bringing you
last
back.
the
Go on.
last po- the last point that I have for social is that there's been a real shift away from influencer marketing. And there was a really good article called "How Influencer Marketing Lost Its Edge in Fast Company" recently, and basically they're talking about how the movement from influencer marketing is going to this what they're calling local creator marketing, which is less high profile people with smaller following, and the ability to deliver more authenticity to the brand, which I think is pretty interesting because it actually helps smaller creators and sort of keep things in a local position, which I love. So it means that there's more room for small businesses to get in on the action at a less cost, less cost in some ways, and um, and then I'm wondering if it might actually, you could do things that are targeted more locally. So if all of my followers are primarily in Vancouver and the lower mainland area, then perhaps I could be doing some things specifically for Vancouver producers or Vancouver service providers or something like that. And so therefore, I think that's sort of like the way that it's being set up, which I think is great. I think it's great. I really love anything that feeds into local economies personally, because then we get to keep more of the profit in our own backyard and helping our fellow community members. And then the
Well,
last,
I would even say, just to jump off of that, that's actually
yeah,
playing more to what Facebook's strengths are, is
yeah,
like local communities. So it's actually a smarter play for the long term of them,
Interesting.
rather than trying to be like this big international conglomerate that's like
yeah,
you can expand to everyone. Like it turns out that they're actually, their big strong suit was like local communities, right? Because like a local
yeah,
Facebook group is like more of what I use Facebook for anyway, finding
yeah,
what's going on locally. And so playing to those strengths, that's where they actually have an advantage. And it's
yeah.
not playing to some sort of weird hype
Mhm.
cycle of doing VR or, NFTs or anything like that. Actually playing to
Yeah.
their strengths, which is local communities, and promoting that, I think is actually a good play for the long term for Facebook.
I
Yeah, I
also
wonder
think
because they don't
this is
monetize
not
it.
just for Facebook either. This is not just for Facebook. This is for TikTok and Instagram. But I think it is particularly interesting for Facebook. And then the other one that I was thinking about was how will this actually produce really interesting content for Google business listings when you're dealing with a local business, physical business, or a local business that has a service area. How interesting would that be to upload your content, your influencer content up there? You might not, you don't get the engagement and action in that way, but you certainly can put out a link to buy and a cute little video, and have your messages set up to, I can't remember where Google messages go to now actually, but you can have that set up so you
Oh,
can
I don't
have,
know if they let that happen
did they stop
anymore.
that? I
Yeah,
thought
I
they were
think they
bringing that back.
did. They stopped tracking the phone calls, I know.
No, not
Uh,
Yeah.
tracking.
no, 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 but they
Uh,
stopped the messages too. And but
I thought
you used to have to like turn it on, and now there's no
Mhm.
place to turn it on. So I think that's gone.
I feel like I read that it was coming back again though. Oh no, it was
Fine.
discontinued last year, but I thought maybe I'm mistaking it with Facebook because they've made some changes on their
Mm.
messages recently too. So um yeah. Okay, so scrap that idea. But
Well, and
still putting local, like if you're going to have a space where you do business and a space where you're your product or service that you're using in your influencer marketing, then that would actually it would actually still make some interesting content for Google business listings, in my opinion. And then
Well,
you
that
create
just
that blog
isn't
article.
it. So you saying that the smaller, influencers are going to get the money. So that just means everybody's selling everything. And is
Well, I think
content,
it's the
can
opposite
we
is what
see. Oh, yeah, see, I don't know. I
small
think
people
it's
are selling things anyways, but they don't really
everybody's
get
selling things.
they don't what they don't get is a fair shake at doing very well with getting large clients. So that's what I'm saying. So the
Mm,
large clients go to the large influencers, they spend large amounts of money, and then they get things out there. That's sort of more of a branding approach. What I'm thinking of is that they like now there's a better idea. Like there's a woman out in the valley who does influencer marketing for companies in the valley, and she's very hyper local that way, and it seems to work really well for her. So
mm,
what I'm saying is that there's more opportunity for that. That seems to be how things are moving on TikTok, is what I'm getting at.
yeah.
I'm not sure about Instagram. They mentioned TikTok in particular, but I expect what's happening with influencer marketing on TikTok is also happening on Instagram. These trends
Mm.
seem to be driven by consumers, not the industry in particular.
Well, it's interesting because I've heard that the authenticity is lost now because of influencer marketing. It's taken
Hmm.
away from like just the realness of life, right? If it's all about marketing, I guess, which is interesting because I don't think that, but I mean, Phelan, I'm getting some feedback. But yeah, I don't know. I just think. Do you think authenticity is less now because of video? I don't think it's because of influencers.
No,
Is it because of
no, it's
video?
No, it's
it.
because of the way it's been done. So the aspects that they talk about that consumers are not responding to anymore are things that are too slick. There's too good production value in it. That those are the things. They're bigger names of people. That's the reason why people are not buying. So they're turning to the people that they trust, which are people in their sphere already, that they know through certain areas, through certain avenues. That's and they have less production value on their videos. Those are the things that are keying in. So that's what authenticity means. So as soon as you take something and turn and the big brands want higher quality production, and that's what they've asked for ages, and that's where they put their money, and they're losing out. They're not understanding how authenticity works in influencer marketing. And so that's what this the now they're the shift from bigger production to smaller production is exactly what they're calling. I forgot what I said it just a second. The term that they're using is local creator marketing as opposed to influencer marketing. There's subtle differences, but there are big differences in how successful the campaigns are. Quite frankly,
Right. Yeah. So
You're muted.
there's something wrong with your mic.
this bleeds really into social, right? Social. So it's definitely not static images anymore,
Yeah,
right?
but I'd also say that authenticity died with social media because the whole point of doing
Ooh.
social media is to not be authentic, is to put out some sort of
Unknown caller.
facade. Yeah, it's to put out like a facade. It's to put out some veneer. You're trying to get attention. So, in order to get attention, ultimately denigrates
Actually,
the concept of authenticity.
Oh, you got Rena bubbling.
yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I think I would just make a couple of distinctions. Like, I think the problem is not that social media marketing came about. I think that marketing companies entered the social sphere and sort of messed around with that. Anyone that does um, anyone that does like that's the one thing that I think is really important is when you're looking at brand voice. Most marketing companies and social media companies are trying to smooth out and make things look better and more professional, but in my mind, my brand voices are who's the person that's the company face, and what do they speak like, and that's the
Yes.
voice. And so that, because that's where authenticity comes from, when it's a person. So I'm always going on, I have a company, a SaaS company, and
Can I? Oh, sorry. Go. Sorry, got
I have a
excited.
SaaS. Yeah, that's okay. I have a SaaS company, and my marketer, my social media person, sometimes when I first brought her on, was trying really hard to like make the sale and constantly using very marketing and salesy language. But I said, you're representing a handful of, older engineers. You need to sound like them. You can't, and our target market is also older engineers. So we want to actually use that kind of language, not some slick marketing language that you're half pulling from AI
Mm,
and then rewriting. It's that those types of things don't get any engagement. But as soon as we put up the stuff that sounds like them, and the photos that are from their space,
interesting.
or like their
Uh,
space,
But
that's what.
that's really
okay.
interesting because wait, no, no, I get to say something in here because there's a great story where this in marketing has changed. Where for Canadians anyway, Hudson's Bay a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, they put their CEO as the speaker in their radio ads, in their blah blah blah, right? But people didn't want to hear from that person. They didn't want to hear the head dude reading the ad, you know. So it's really done a flip where you now want to know who the people are that are behind the business, right? So you,
But I even think that that was a wrong move, because they were actually getting him to read this, or getting, I don't know if it's a him or
her,
her,
it was a her.
to read the script. And I think having a script is the issue, right? So I would say
Mm,
that, and also I think that's probably right, because that's a bigger company and their branding strategy has to be quite different. So everything that I'm really talking about are smaller businesses on a smaller scale. So I'm not sure that you can do the same tactics with
with like
different.
Hudson's Bay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, they've
so
gone
so
under.
there's
Go
a
on, Phil.
there's a fancy $5 word for what you guys are talking about, which is a verisimilitude, which is an old 1920s film word about when you film something and you know that it's being filmed, so you make it look realistic because it's being filmed. So you're aware that it's being filmed, and so you act in a way that is natural, but it's not natural because it's being filmed.
But
So it's the act of
yeah,
by not being slick, you're still having a situation in which it's not slick, but that makes it still filmed, and so that act actually causes the person to not think of it as being real, but it's still faked because it's still
But
being
if we're
filmed.
filmed all the time, we forget we're being filmed, and
no,
therefore,
I don't think so. I
Yeah,
oh,
don't
most
think so.
people don't.
I
Like
actually
that.
think the other thing I would say, though, is that it's also about the vernacular. So this is how we talk about it in sociology, is that there's a vernacular on Facebook, there's a different vernacular on Instagram, there's a different vernacular on TikTok. And when marketers first came into social media, they were just trying to shove the same message that was inauthentic, too polished, and they were throwing it in everywhere without actually going in and reading the room and figuring it out from there. Like that's one of the biggest issues, and that's why they talk about how marketers ruin everything. They go into a space, they take it over, they throw their marketing stuff in, and
oh,
that's
you
not
could say that just about people ruin
that's not
everything. You know
well,
what I
yeah.
mean?
Well,
Like
yeah,
we're
but we're talking about marketing spaces, so that's why I'm
mm,
actually bringing this up. So basically, it's really important to authenticity. Also comes from like how you're saying what is already going on in that space. So how you say something shouldn't be dictated really from your like your brand voice should be organized according to all the different spaces. Things should be slightly different in all that, if you wanted to really get granular on it. And knowing the space is the first step on any of this, rather than just barging on in and saying what you got to say. Like that's just not great experience for anyone. But anyways, that's my whole that's like
Greg, what do
a
you think?
Oh, sorry, what? What are we talking about?
I know you were listening. I saw you. Your eyes were like, it was a little ping pong.
I remember introducing myself, and I've been just quiet the whole time.
That's why I thought I'd say, hey, how are you feeling about social media and what's going on in because
I'm
you're on social
I'm
media.
reminded that I believe I did a topic years ago called "Influencers Are Killing Social Media" or something along those lines. And
What was that song in the 80s? Radio killed the video kid killed the radio star.
video killed the radio star.
Yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
No, well, I mean, when you guys were going on about how influencers changed, like it's everything is inauthentic on social media, and like I saw that years and years and years ago. Like as soon as influencer marketing was a thing,
Mm.
I was like,
But even
influencer marketing to me is going to kill anything good about social media
did you
because
do you think it was like that before influencer marketer though? Because marketing, because that when you say influencers ruined it, when you say before that was ruined too by marketers, period?
Well,
Because I guess that's what I
because
was just saying a few minutes ago.
no, I didn't get that feeling because before that, there wasn't influencer marketing. It was just normal marketing, and we were all
oh,
used to normal marketing.
hold on, there was some stuff. So we have types of marketing, right? We have we influencers. Before influencers were like pop stars and famous people, and then so those were those. So and then we have like placement of goods in movies, also part of like an influential type of marketing, right? With a like Coke can in place, or like Halle Berry or someone drinking Coke, or you know what I mean? Like, so it's always been
Really,
around.
But
you're gonna miss the biggest product placement
Okay,
of all time.
so
what?
Which
influencer marketing to me, yes, it was around by the super popular people who were in like the movie stars
Mhm.
or people who were well known. Yes, but I didn't consider them influencer marketing, although they are influencing and marketing something because they have a massive following. I think of influencer marketing now as all of the people who saw that happening and were like, I'm going to just get a shit ton of followers just for the sole purpose of, then going to a company and saying, I have this many followers. And these people are nobodies. They just have massive following. To me, those are the people who killed social media
Mm.
because of this influencer marketing thing. If it was only still, the super popular people who are like movie stars and
Mhm.
like on
Yeah.
on TV and stuff like that, I don't think I'd have an issue with it because I know that comes with it, right? They
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have massive followings. It's all of the other nobodies out there who became influencers because they had massive followings
Mm. I think it's a
mysteriously
whole.
for
Oh.
whatever reason all of a sudden they got massive followings and started to just like use it for influencer marketing.
Hmm.
I see it as a distinction without a difference. Whether you're a nobody and you got a bunch of popularity through social media, or you went to Hollywood and you became very famous, I think that's a distinction without a difference. I think we've just spread out who's getting influence and how they're doing it. It's
You know
the
what I
same
do like?
process.
Oh, I think you're right, Phelan, but that's just, yeah, I think it's similar. But I also agree with Greg. Also agree with Rina. The one thing though is, I have been affected by some influencers, and I don't mind being influenced a little bit, so to speak. Like, I don't. There's one person, a woman. I think she's called the shower girl or the bathroom girl. She just does TikToks in the bathroom, but it's very creative and funny. Just like that really famous blonde girl that did the different voices, who does Vessi ads. And yes, I bought Vessi waterproof shoes because of it. It did work. It was funny, super creative. Like the super creative people doing ads now, I think it's more fun. What do you think? And we've run out of time.
Uh, I just got to say, just while we're closing out, that one of the other important things that we had talked about in the preparation was that the mouse is going after OpenAI.
Mm,
Disney has decided to come around and train their eye on OpenAI, which was a long-standing issue that everyone is kind of curious because Disney makes their money off of having intellectual property, and AI makes its money off of removing that intellectual property. And so I think that that's going to be a very interesting situation that's going to unfold, and I'm sure it'll be years of uh, litigation.
right.
But all of AI may be disabled because there hasn't been an AI CEO that has not been able to answer the question, "Where did you get your training data?" And they all kind of hum and haw and look at the ground and don't answer the question. So a lot of AI companies are kind of were hoping that Disney wasn't going to train their eye on them, and now they are. So we'll see how that
Interesting.
shakes out.
Yes. So with that, we're out of time.
No,
But
we have one more can to open, and we
oh,
won't talk about it. We'll just open it. But the one thing that we need to um, let everyone know is Palantir is in partnership with OpenAI and the Department of Defense. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to our data, and we can talk more about that later.
yeah, yeah, because there's a
Yeah.
lot going on with data
Yeah,
ethics
yeah.
and so much and security. So stay tuned. We'll be talking more about all this stuff the fourth uh, Thursday of the month, where we do our marketing recap on all the things. Now, we did miss some search stuff and some Google Ads stuff, but we'll hit that next time. AI and what's going on social is really interesting right now, and our market is in such flux. Do we know what we're talking about next week? Next week, I
Yes,
think we have.
yes, we do. We've got AI powered search and social optimization with you and me.
Oh, that's going to be so fun. Okay,
Yeah.
and we will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
All right.